Hey guys, it's Sunny, and today I just wanted to talk to you about a project that I'm working on. In the past, oh gosh, I think it's been 3 or 4 years since I worked on the stone arch there. I actually made that for a project I did. I did a mermaid style grotto room. I don't remember the details, so I will link somewhere below, or maybe in a card up here. I will link to the video so you can go back and see. I haven't watched it even recently. I did not keep the mermaid grotto room. I kept some components from it, but I threw away the main room just because I thought it was going to be moving, and we tried to consolidate some of the extra stuff that we had. We didn't think we would ever do this channel again, so the only thing I kept was the arch, and it has held up very beautifully. So I'm really excited to use the same technique that I used on the arch, making these stones. You can see that this Wonder Woman hybrid doll right here, she's actually sitting on one of the stones I created. And I want to talk to you guys about making props for your photography or for doll stories and that sort of thing. And so I'm going to kind of change some camera angles here, and we're going to go into detail, and I want to talk to you guys about that. Okay, so I've changed angles, and what I wanted to talk to you was about making these rocks like this. There's several different techniques that people who do like dioramas and different types of like doll sets use. Number one, I found that some people use foam. You can buy big sheets of foam at your like hardware store. The only reason I didn't try that technique is because the sheets are really big. I don't have the kind of vehicle that can transport them, and cutting into them and that sort of thing can be a little bit messy. So, and I don't really have a lot of faith in my carving skills at this point, so I didn't feel like that would work for me. Another technique that I tried, and I used to do this when I used to do church Bible school sets. We had to make rocks, big stones, and they had to be light. You couldn't obviously bring in a giant stone into the church, so we would actually take paper bags. Now we would take the grocery store kind. These are lunch bags. They don't have the same stiffness, so I figured that I might not get the same result. But we used to take big, you know, the brown bags you get at the grocery store, and what you do is you paint, you know, cut them out. So in this situation, you would cut on the seams and flatten it out and make it look like a piece of paper. With the bigger rocks, what I would do is just crumble them up and shape the bag. If you were making that large scale, you would crumble them up, shape the bag, and then paint them with spray paint. This is a smaller scale, so what I did was I cut down the seam of the bag, and I cut off the end, this end here, and then I painted it so it looked kind of like this. And then after I painted it, I crumbled it up to give it that texture. Like that. And how I painted it, I accidentally used silver instead of gray. And I kind of liked the graphite kind of shining look. So I just went with it because this was just really for an example. I was testing out the process to see if I would like it. And see if it would be faster. So you just paint it. Best way to paint it is sponging paint on. So start with black and then sponge over with the lighter colors. Or if you want to, depending on what kind of rock you're making, I wasn't trying to get too technical with my rocks. So it may not be accurate as far as that. I'm just trying to make something that looks like rock. So if you do it this way, and then after you do that, you want to take your pieces and crumble them up and put them in some sort of form to where it looks like a rock. Now, this is not bad for photography if this is all you have and you need something that's light, sorry. Getting tongue-tied here. If you want something easy to store, something that's really light. I mean, this is super light. It's easy. If you stick it in a box and it gets mashed, you can kind of re-unmash it. Is that even a word? I'm sorry. So this is something, and I tried making them smaller, but the problem with these that I found is they don't always keep their shape, and they're hard to keep the backing together. So I tried holding it together with some staples and that sort of thing, but For a general use, like if you just needed to make a lot of rocks and you didn't have the time to create something with foam or cardboard, then this would work for somebody. So this is really easy, something to make with just paper bags and paint, and easy to store. But what I wanted to do was what I did in the past with this grotto, and again, I will link with the stone arch. And I will link the video so that you can see what I said back then, because I honestly don't remember. It's entirely possible I got this idea from somebody else. Most ideas out there come from somebody else, and it's just an adaptation of or an interpretation of somebody else's idea. So I'm not going to claim this idea as my own. I'm just going to say that I use this technique. I've seen other people do it. I don't know where it originated at, so we'll just leave it at that. So what you're going to do is you're going to make shapes out of cardboard. I just bought packing boxes from my local Walmart, and then I just created shapes. And as you can see here, I wrote pattern, do not use. So I made several patterns in different sizes. And they really just kind of look like a potato. I mean, you know, it kind of just looks just like a potato. See? This one especially looks like a potato. And then what you're going to do is cut them out of the cardboard until you have lots of them. Okay. I don't have as many in the smaller sizes because I've been using them, but I have bigger ones. And if you find that your sizes need to, I mean, the best part about this is you can trim these down as you go. So if you make them all a general size and you need to go a little smaller at times, they're easy to trim. Okay, and so then what you're going to do is hot glue those together in a stacked fashion. Now I like to stack mine a little off center. So sometimes you get like this kind of a back where it's almost like a stair step in the back, but I like to do it that way because I get a little more texture on the rock, a little bit more shape to the rock. And so I hot glue those together. Then what I do is I take Mod Podge. I just like the matte version of it, and I take tissue paper and I start putting it on in layers. So you'll want to put the glue on the cardboard or the Mod Podge on the cardboard, and then put the tissue down with Mod Podge over top of that. And the easiest way to do it, to get it to go into each and every crevice, is just take your brush and push it in there, and then working in all the other crevices. And so you can see I haven't quite finished this one. This one needs a couple more layers. And then after that, I painted the rock completely solid black. When I painted the rock black, okay, so something I wanted to tell you is that I used a higher quality paint on this at first, and it didn't cover very well. And I found that actually the cheaper paint that you can get, the acrylic paint, it's like 99 cents, $1.29 a bottle, actually covered better, and it went a lot further, and I didn't feel like I was using so much more of my higher quality, more expensive paint. So paint it all black, and then what you do is you just take a sponge and you kind of dry sponge, or you can dry brush a gray color over top of that. That's all you need. It's just black and gray if you want it to look like this. Now, obviously, I'm no rock expert, and it's possible that if you want it to look like a different kind of rock, something you see somewhere else, maybe something more where you live, perhaps some of those, I think it's like Arizona or out west, where they have more of that reddish brown, definitely research it, try to figure out how to get the colors. Again, I am no expert at all on that. I just wanted to share the technique, and I'm really proud of myself because compared to the grotto, the rock arch that I made before and this now, I feel like I've really improved in my technique and learning how it all works and how it all fits together. And I think that's the best part about making sets for your dolls, is that as you do more of it, as you make more, as you experiment more, you're going to get better. Things are going to look more lifelike, more real, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, like making scenes that your dolls can be in and taking pictures and coming up with ideas and coming up with little stories in your mind on what your doll was doing. So my doll went hiking, so she's posing on the rock like so many people do when they go hiking. They pose on the rock and a friend takes a picture. You know, things like that. Just use your imagination, have fun with it. Do you have any guesses? Put them in the comments below. What do you think I'm making? You think I'm remaking the grotto, the mermaid grotto room? You think I'm making something else? I'm just curious to see if anybody's gonna guess. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you guys are building. Tell me if you're working on doll rooms, doll sets, things to take pictures with. What are you working on? And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button and all that good stuff. And you guys, I love you. And I hope that your week is going well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully Lola's voice will be back then. See you soon.